Let's begin. We are starting our episode basically one. We made a little mistake. The last one was episode 0 because we did the pool, but this is your tarot journey. So welcome to your tarot journey. It's a mini series that we're going to do every Saturday starting May 4th, which we already started, obviously. And it's for anybody who wants to dive in a little deeper into the major arcanas and see how they could be applied to your everyday life and to your personal journeys. I am Katarina.
I'm Sabrina.
Welcome. And today we're talking about
the Magician. Numero uno. right here. So did I say number 1 for the Fool card?
I don't think so,
No?
but
okay.
Basically the Magician comes after the Fool card, which we explained in last week's episode. So Fool is all about the beginning of a journey, trusting the unknown. And now we're entering the Magician, which
is okay. So Katarina and I see this journey a little bit differently, and I want she'll begin with her interpretation and I'll continue after with mine. So the Fool begins the journey and he or she leaves behind everything, and the first person he or she meets is this beautiful alchemist, the Magician. For Katarina, this means?
Well, I don't see it like that.
Oh, you don't see it like that?
I think
right.
The Fool becomes the alchemist. So the Fool actually goes into this journey. He is exploring. He or she is basically in this beautiful energy of curiosity, of trying new things, being challenged maybe a little bit on the way. But then he realized that there's certain elements that he has to work with to, one, manifest what he truly desires, and realizes that there's certain things that he needs to face within himself, which if you see here is the different elements of all the minor arcana suits. So you have the cup, you have the pentacles, you have the sword, and you have the wand, which is all symbolic of your mental state, your emotional state, your physical state, and your spiritual state. So he realizes that he has all of these tools in his possession where he can actually become the master manifester. And to me as a student, to Sabrina, you said it was more like a teacher, right?
Mm-hmm. Because I do believe that he meets
the magician.
That's like part of his journey, that he meets this. The way I see it is that he meets first the master, right? The master manipulator, the master manifester. Okay. He's the one with all the tools, and he shows the magician, this is what you can use with these tools, but be careful also with these tools, because these tools can trick you, so he shows him both sides of the tools. And that's the way I see the magician, as like a master, which is what I feel like, which is always a mirror anyways, right? So she sees him as the mirror, as and I see the reflection, basically. So I'm seeing the magician as a person,
as a physical form, the reflection of the internal state. And I see it
as the internal state. So it's very interesting, but regardless of it, it's like
it works.
It
comes up to the same thing at the end of the day, for sure, 100%, because there's still, the elements are the same. The manifestation, the using the specific tools, the specific elements to alchemize and then become the master alchemist, to then get the manifestations that you're looking for, right? Because you don't attract just through thought alone. You attract through your emotional state, through taking those actions, those risks, and also through, having, what's it called? Being aligned. Being aligned and with your soul's mission. And
the magician is Gemini energy, right? Which is the planet of Mercury, and Mercury is the messenger god, right? So that's why the magician is like the messenger to me. It's like he's sending a message to the Fool and saying, hey, so you understand how this journey works. We need to understand how the mind works, right? Like perhaps you might need to tap into your mind. We have to think that we're all human, right? We're not just a light here. So you have to tap into your mind. Then you'll have to understand that maybe you will fall on this journey and physically you might hurt yourself, or you might step into, you need money to eat on this journey. So how do you need to manifest this in your life? It's like, let's talk. Let me talk to you and ask you what is it? What are the next steps for you? Like it's fine and dandy. You want to go and find your purpose, but now what? Like, do you need some physical, or do you need something emotional that you need to address? and it's because he's a master alchemist, a manipulator, then he can help the fool understand a little bit more how to manipulate the tools around him, right? It's not, and it doesn't have to be a bad word, manipulate, right? But use these resources around him,
using
right?
them
For his betterment.
for his betterment and for his advancement and his internal understanding
and how to
development.
manifest, like maybe there's a feeling of creativity when it comes, like we are creation, right? So the fool is starting as the zero creator, and now the magician is going to show you how to develop your creativity, right? In whatever area of, in business, which is pentacles, in psychology, which is swords, or within like in your relationships with your, you know what I'm saying? So it's like almost like, to me, like the Akashic records. It's like he's walked into the Akashic records and the master's like, okay, what do you need from me? I will, like, it will explain everything to you. I will try anyways. I'm just going to show you how you can manipulate these tools. But it's up to you to take these resources and figure it out along the way on this journey. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, actually. And it's really, what I'm hearing is the teacher is here to help you discover your true power, right? Your true powerness. And for me, it's like you're the student discovering your true powers by using these different elements, which
is one and the same.
Exactly. 100%.
Because you're the teacher and you're the student.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then if it's in the reverse, which is
the shadow side.
The shadow side.
Every card, and not everybody interprets the actual reversals, because a lot of the elements, and if you're using your intuition, even if it's upright, you're still going to see a shadow aspect. If it's a real tarot reader, someone who's really tapped in, tuned in, turned on, like they don't need to see the reversals. They know exactly what the message or the conversation or what the card is trying to tell them. And in addition to that, the cards have a lot of quote unquote bad or negative cards that will bring up the same message as the reversal of the magician as well. So anyways, but the shadow aspect, because if you're going by, this is a characteristic that we each have in the cycle, in the journey, whether it's our own depiction or the person in front of us element, we each have this. So there's a shadow aspect to every single card, every single personality, every single character, right?
There's a polarity.
Even pride. If you have pride, there is a shadow aspect of pride. It's the finding that balance.
Although pride is a shadow.
Well, I think it could be in a positive way.
We'll get that when we get to the strength card.
Exactly. And so the shadow aspect would be one, manipulation, but in a not so pleasant
trickster kind of way, right?
And getting, it's almost like going against someone's free will. I'm going to manipulate you into doing something that I know you don't want to do, but I'm going to make you think that you want to do it, right? So that's one way.
I'm going to manipulate you I'm going to bribe you with money. I'm going to, like, if you think of all the resources in front of him, it's like, we keep saying it, it's the pentacles, the swords, the cups, the wands. And if you take them all, it's like, I'm going to bribe you with sex, which is wands energy. I'm going to hold this over your head and make you feel really bad. This is the cups energy, right? And it's like, so, there's so many, I'm going to keep talking to you and make you really believe that you're crazy. That's the swords energy. So that's like,
or use fear.
Yeah.
We see a lot in the media.
This is resistance. Like it's like, not wanting to face, and not realizing that you have these tools that you come in to this journey with these tools that you have no idea about, you don't remember. And that's this whole journey. The manipulator, the magician is like, you have these tools. I'm going to show you how to use them, but it's up to you to implement them in your life, right? That's basically what it is, this whole journey.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why we meet the high priestess next, who says, yo, you have it all in there, So it's like a very interesting journey.
And is there any other aspects?
Yeah, untapped talents.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have it all. And we think we have nothing. Like how many of you out there have like suffer from this imposter syndrome, or have you suffer from like self-sabotaging yourself because comparing yourself to other people. You thought that they have, oh my god, look at them, he can stand in front of thousands of people and talk to people, and I'm like, I can't do that, I can't. But you have it all within you. It's
So
just you're not trusting, like we talked about with the Fool. You don't trust yourself, and the magician is like, hey, you have it inside you, you can do anything you want. And it's not anyone else that has more than you. You have it all. Katerina has it all. Sabrina has it all. Jane has it all. Carol has it all. Everybody has it all. Even Matthew, even the boys out there, you have it all. So it's like, it's up to us to dig a little deeper, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. And basically, the magician is all about that. It's facing these fears, facing these elements, whether it's mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, these blockages.
Yes, it is.
And if it's in the shadow side, you don't want to face them, right? You don't want to face these fears. You don't want to face these blockages, because for you, it's, I'm not good enough, or I don't have these tools. I'm not as special as that person. But what is special? There's nothing. You're a miracle in itself, but you don't see your own miracle because maybe you're comparing yourself to others. The Gemini does that, no? They compare themselves a lot.
And they overthink.
Exactly.
Over analyze everything. And that could be a shadow. And that could be, it is definitely, because it's like, there's no reason to over anything, overwhelm, over react, over anything, because you have it all within you. And I like that the Fool comes in with like this empty mind and empty, and then the magician comes in, who's Gemini energy, starting to fill his mind a little bit with information, which is what we do too. We fill our minds with information. But I think that what the magician is not so much as like fill it in. It's just more like an overview.
Unless you're in the shadow, and then you're overfilling your mind because you're afraid of not knowing enough, not doing enough, not feeling enough. And this could also go with this excessive need to heal. Oh, I have so many wounds, I need to heal all my traumas. And that could also be in reverse. Could be also, if you think about it with the magician card, where it's like you don't think you're ever good enough because you need to first heal yourself with whatever needs healing, right? So again, you're not living life to the fullest. You're in this shadow aspect of fear, this shadow aspect of not being good enough, and I don't deserve this relationship. I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve. And it could also be this whole, getting caught up in the illusion, because it's all about illusions too, right? You have this screen, this smoke screen, and you see it with the media. You see it with, people throwing in all the dramas, like these constant dramas. It's the magician in the shadow aspect, because you're using someone's emotions to get them to be fearful, to not take the leap of faith, to not move forward, to not step into their greatness. To me, I see as the magician is like an opportunity. Let's step into our greatness already, or at least attempt to,
or
really
like
use our element.
You're already great.
Yeah.
Why haven't you? Why are you even like questioning it? That the magician to me is always like it's always this the wizard. He's that wizard that you see in all of these movies. He's like he's always putting things together, putting elements together, and he's like, well, of course, and he's trying all these new things, like and he's like, why wouldn't you try? Why wouldn't you let's do all the potions and instead like use the tools that you have, But also there's that, if you think of that imagery of the magician and the wizard of the olden times kind of thing, he also used potions to kill people, right? So that's that shadow aspect. Again, it's like killing that light that's inside you.
Yeah. Like killing the light that's inside you. And also why are you killing that person? What aren't you facing that causes you to want to cause harm to somebody else, right? That's again the shadow aspect of it. I was going to say something else too, and I forgot.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
That's not you. in terms
The
of
magician, wizard,
in terms of the magician, in terms of it doesn't matter. It'll come back to me eventually. But yeah.
the sorcerer. Yeah, there's like an interesting. To me, it's like always the inversion. I always think when I see the magician, I always think about the illusion and the inversion, how they made the magician look out to be like the evil one, right? It's always a little bit of that comes up. You know, it's that illusion. You know, the matrix. Like, well, you like it almost like if you look back at your life, you no, you're more mental or you're more emotional. No, you should go into psychology. You should go into law. You should go into that. You having to choose your like domain at the age of 17, 18 years old, because that is your thing. That's like like a grander magician above us or below us or whatever, manipulating the mass population with like, this is what you need to do because this is what we told you in the box, right? And the Gemini energy is so outside of the box. It's an air element. It's like, no, I can't be in this box because I'm gonna go crazy. So it's kind of like so many different aspects to look at this magician, because the fool is not on a straight path. He's looking at all the mirror aspects, and I love that she brought in that for her it was the fool becoming the magician, which is the mirror, right? Which is the reflection. It's his internal, and I'm seeing it as the external, which is the matrix, the illusion. And it's kind of like that whole polarity coming together.
Yeah.
Which is we are one and the other.
Yeah.
We are both the illusion and the thing. So
yeah, and it comes back to this whole notion, and I just remembered where I was going at before. The magician, it knows it just needs to try stuff, but it also knows that it knows nothing. You know, it's like this awareness that it knows everything, but it knows nothing on the same time. That's why it's trying new things. And it's like, why aren't you trying things? Like, why aren't we all just trying things and getting to know ourselves and our environments and have fun with it? Right. It's like this play. I almost feel like it's almost like, you know, the fool is the baby to 0 to 7 years old, where you're playing, or maybe even to 5 years old. And then you have 5 to 7, where it's like, okay, you see a child. I don't know if you've ever been around children from 5 to 7, but they're trying everything. They're touching everything. They're, you know, they're tempting too. Like they say things to get a reaction and see. Like I remember my niece at a point when she was around a little earlier than 5, but she would say, "I hate you, Teta Kati. I hate you." And it was like, I know it wasn't malicious. It was to see how I would react to it. And it was like this play, you saw it. And to me, it was so important. First thing is like, why would a child of 4 years old, why would that trigger me? Why do I need a child to tell me it loves me? Why would it trigger me, a kid of 4 years old telling me I don't like you or I hate you, right? So it was like, first it really made me just smile and laugh, because I'm like, this is exactly it. They're just testing the waters. They're having fun. They're saying things. They're actually comfortable enough to express whatever comes to their mind, right? They don't even know what hate means. They don't even know what the definition is. And they're just like throwing it out there and seeing what they get in return, right? So
interesting.
Yeah. It's so interesting.
It brings up like when you start talking about childhood, I start bringing myself back into my backyard as a child. And like, I didn't have video games when I was younger. Like it wasn't like this anyways. And so I used to go back in the backyard and take a rock and a stone and a frog and whatever I could find, a worm, and I freaking played, right? I created with the tools that I had there for fun, for life, right? And that's where I feel like it's it ends. It doesn't stop for everybody, but there's a program that's built in to like, okay, enough with your creative thinking. We're gonna you follow the rules.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. And the magician gets lost there a little bit, right? The magician's like, yo, no, I want to continue playing with firecrackers and whatever, you know. And then you get to a certain point in your journey, you're like, that's why I see like you have to go this, you have to do this, this, and this, and this, and this is where the magicians and the high priestesses and all of the hierophants they all get lost a little bit. They're like, oh my God, what is going on? And if we start with the first one, the magician already starting to get lost.
Well, it makes a lot you bring a good point, because the box just brings us back to the material world, right? It's like, oh no, you're a human. You're supposed to be doing taxes. You're supposed to be working. You're supposed to be going to school. So it anchors you into the material world. But the magician card, if you see, he has one hand up and one hand down, meaning that he understands that it's a fine balance between the unknown, the spiritual, and the material world. And this is why we're playing in these elements. So at a certain age, we're told, stop playing. You're not a kid anymore. And at a very young age too, like 7 years old. I remember in our time, it's just like, 7 years old, 8 years old, you're not a kid anymore, practically.
Really?
For me, anyways. For me, anyways, it was, but you saw it too. And even when you're at that age, you see these adults and it's like, oh, they're just stressed about money. They're stressed about this. They're always stressed. Meanwhile, you're there and you're playing and you don't get it. You just don't get it. And that's the thing. At the magician, you understand that it's a fine line. Like, if you turn on a firecracker, you might not know it in the beginning, but you feel the power and you feel pain on your skin because you just got burned, slightly burned, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be lighting this in my hand. It's like you start understanding the material and the spiritual, and then you start finding that fine line, that fine kind of middle ground of like, oh, I'm still human.
As above, so below.
Exactly.
It's interesting, the magician. Yeah. It's like, we can go on a lot about this. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of different aspects that you see the magician within your childhood, within your adolescence, within your adulthood. And the magician is just asking us to, like, can you be a little bit more expansive in the way you're utilizing your tools and the resources that you have? Can you step outside of the box? Can you take out the toolbox, like open it wide instead of just going like this and getting the hammer? Can you do it like there's so much more? And have you tapped into all of these resources in your life?
Yeah. And can you bridge the gap, right? Can you bridge it? Can you take all these tools and how could you anchor it into the material world? Okay, I have all these tools. I know I have all these elements. I have like this intuition feel and all that. How could I be guided into the spiritual world? Into the material world. And how can I use these tools?
And how do you incorporate all the 4 resources, right? Like, eventually these 4 resources are collapsing into one kind of thing, right? But in the meantime, it's human world now, so we can use them like in different ways and to our benefit and not to our detriment, right? And not to hurt anyone or to be more powerful or be more, we'll get that into the emperor time, and be more status and greedy and this, and just utilize it for the betterment of humanity and for self. That's like, the magician is like, oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's really like these cards. That's what I love about the major arcana. It's these specific phases in your life, and you're gonna see them. Everybody's in these phases, and that's why it's the major arcana. It's major cycles that we all go through, and a lot of people do associate specific age groups in a lot of these cards. So, yeah, we have a couple of takeaways.
Yeah,
if you've reached this far, thank you for watching.
Yeah. What are your manifestations in your life? Like, where have you started using these resources in your life? Actually, are you using them? Are you using all of your resources?
Have you even noticed them? Have you even noticed that you have these resources, and how are you applying it, and how are you actually using these resources to manifest the things that you actually truly desire? And are they your desires? How you, and
are they expansive, or are you resisting? Like, is there? Because like we talk about the 4 elements, right? But you can see it differently as well. But are you resisting somewhere and then overextending yourself somewhere else? Are you bringing them all together as one? Are you using,
could you give an example of that? Or
like, are you overthinking about something in your life and
instead of actually taking action?
And instead of taking action, are you overacting? Are you overdoing? I'm multitasking. I'm doing everything else, but I'm not really taking time to step back
and hear your emotions and see how it feels. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Like, how do we that's how you manage. I hate to use manage, but that's how you manage all the resources. That's how the magician puts together the potions. To me, I always look at it as potions, right? Like fun things. Like, I like to see fun things. The frog is the pentacles and the physical, and and whatever, like the tears of the frog, are, emotional. Like bring it all together. Is it manifesting something beautiful and poetic in your life? Is it manifesting something a little feeling heavy and dense? Or you keep hitting a wall against every time you manifest something into your life? A lot of people manifest, I'm manifesting money into my life. Yeah. I want it to come now. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a millionaire. Oh my God, I became a millionaire. And then they lose it after a month because they manifested something that maybe wasn't in their destiny.
Or wasn't ready to actually receive it because they still don't feel worthy enough to have this money, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of the cup, the emotional side. Okay, you want the money, here's the money, but do you really think you deserve this money? Because if you don't think you deserve this money, well, then you might just self-sabotage and spend it all in one shot, or lose it all in one way or another. Yeah, one way, shape, or form. And it's
Am I
interesting.
overthinking? Sorry, go say it before you forget. No, go.
No, it's okay.
Like, are you overthinking swords energy of like, I need money, and money. I'll cancel quickly. But money. And like the universe is like, yo, are you for real? Like you're taking that sword energy to the nth degree, right? And the pentacles energy will come to you when you are meant to have it, right? So it's like
you're overthinking it, so you don't even see the opportunities anymore because there's so much in your head, right? So that's another way of it being blocked from you. And I found it just interesting. You were talking about organizing, managing, and the card really, some people say that it's a card of planning. So are you planning it to use these elements in a way that is not necessarily in your best interest or benefits, but are you using them exactly
align with you
in an alignment to get the things that you really want? Or is it again planning because you're fearful of losing something, or fearful of manifesting disaster,
or not having enough,
or
doing it like we talked about in the Fool card? Are you manifesting it because someone else is influencing you, that you feel like you need to keep up with the Joneses? You keep up with everyone else, but it's like the universe, the God is like, no, like, why are you even putting yourself? Like the magician doesn't care, right? He's gonna do his own little potions. I love it. I can't wait. I always had a vision of me in a cave, like in a rock.
It was probably one lifetime.
Yeah, I'm sure I did.
It was probably a lifetime away.
Do you want this potion? I have it. All right.
I think that's all for takeaways, right?
Yeah.
I think those were the main key takeaways.
Yeah.
We're good. Sounds like a plan. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Magician, and that we are excited, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one.
Yep. Love you guys.
Yeah. 1 second.